All right, we are going to have to leave it there. For all of you in the southern states, that is all our live coverage for now. If you're in Queensland, we'll be with you for the next hour, so stay with us.
A natural disaster becomes a national crisis. Tonight, devastating floods continue to rampage through Queensland towns. Our reporters are standing by with the very latest on the victims and those still missing. This is a special broadcast of 9 News with Peter Overton live from Brisbane.
Good evening. We're here in Brisbane where a real disaster is unfolding and the scale is just staggering. 9 people are now confirmed dead. At least 4 of them are children. Another 66 people are missing. Dozens of towns are affected and now 32 suburbs of Brisbane are beginning to go under or are on high alert. As we've mentioned, the disaster has now spread across an incredibly large part of Queensland, but it all began in Toowoomba. That's where that powerful flash flood wreaked havoc as it ripped the heart out of the centre of that city yesterday afternoon. And Davina is now in the township of Warwick, which is about an hour south of Toowoomba. And Davina, they haven't experienced the brute force of those flash floods in Warwick, but a new emergency is unfolding.
Yeah, very much so, Peter. Behind me is the Condamine River and it is rising very, very rapidly. We were here a few hours ago. Those homes behind me were high and dry and now they are very fast being inundated with water.
And we're thinking of those families tonight and in the days to come. Davina, thank you. Well, among the dead from these catastrophic floods are a woman and her 2 children, swept away in their car by the raging torrent in Grantham. Now, the Lockyer Valley town, which is east of Toowoomba, tonight remains cut off. Here in Brisbane, people in low-lying areas are being told to leave and to leave now. The Brisbane River behind me has broken its banks. The city is virtually in lockdown. Office workers forced to leave the city centre. Sarah Harris, our reporter, joins me. Sarah, how bad do they think it will get here?
Oh, Pete, they think it'll be as bad or worse as those devastating floods that Brisbane saw back in 1974. On Thursday, the Brisbane River is expected to peak at 5.54 metres. Now, that exceeds the 1974 peak. And tomorrow, out in Ipswich, which is west of the city, the river there is expected to peak at 22 metres.
Well, the amount of rain and subsequent flooding this summer is breaking all sorts of records. Australia's 3rd wettest year on record. Queensland's wettest year since the records began. Well, the result, one of the worst natural disasters in our history. Peter Harvey explains why. Well, of course, so many people have been affected by this flood disaster here in Queensland. There is an emergency information hotline phone number. That number for you is 1300 993 191 for friends and relatives of people affected by the floods in Queensland. 1300 993 191 is the number to call. Well, plenty more to come on our flood tragedy special 1-hour edition of 9 News. In the news ahead, John Hopewati faces a new charge as he fronts the media. Plus, a major salmonella outbreak in southwest Sydney. And America's political shooting suspect faces court.
Half-yearly clearance, massive bargain store-wide. Big range, big brands, best price guaranteed. Plus 40 months, no deposit, interest-free. On now, don't miss out.
Rise to 18. There are currently 66 people still missing. Ipswich and Brisbane are facing a deluge which may well surpass what happened in 1974. The towns to the west, those such as Grantham, Toowoomba and Helidon, have taken a pounding that has been absolutely merciless. Well, turning to other news now, and John Hopewati, the boxer and former rugby league star, clashed with reporters today as he faced court on an assault charge. He tried to stop the media getting into the courtroom as he pleaded not guilty to common assault over a fatal brawl outside a King's Cross nightclub. It's suspected a Bankstown bakery is the source of a salmonella scare in Sydney's southwest. 117 people went to hospital with symptoms of food poisoning. We'll cross back to Pete Overton in a moment in the flood zone shortly, but where he'll have the latest on the national crisis. But to Tim Gilbert now with sport and a major shock in the Sydney International.
Yeah, and it's certainly a change of pace, Al. There was a shock. Sam Stosur had a real fight as well. The highlights next. Also, Socceroo Tim Cahill celebrates a double in Doha, and the horse race on an obstacle course. Sam Sosa has been knocked out of Sydney International by Svetlana Kuznetsova on a day of upsets. World number one Caroline Wozniacki made a shock departure. It was a much better day for Kim Clijsters, while Sosa crashed out in 3 sets. Soccer star David Beckham has passed a fitness test with Tottenham Hotspur. The 35-year-old was hoping for a 2-month playing loan with the Premier League club, but talks broke down over insurance issues. And that's all the sports news. Let's get back to Brisbane and Peter Overton.
Good on you, Tim. Thanks very much. Stay with us for more in our special edition of 9 News, including the amazing images sent in by many of our viewers. Plus, 6:30. By a Current Affairs, Layla McKinnon. And Layla, this flood situation is just getting worse by the hour.
So quickly, we just have to stay right across it, and we will be updating it right throughout the show. Of course, Ipswich is in dire straits now. Brisbane is next, so we'll be speaking to Brisbane Mayor Campbell Newman about just what he's expecting here. They're saying worse than 74, so it's important that we keep updating it throughout the night. What we've also done, Pete, is we have handed part of the show over to those who are going through the crisis, and who better to tell the story than the first-hand account witnesses, home video. We'll have the very latest through the eyes of the people who've gone through this crisis.
Layla, we'll see you for ACA straight after the news.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you. Well, residents of Grafton in northern New South Wales face an anxious wait, with the Clarence River expected to rise suddenly overnight. Some of the city is already underwater. Locals aren't taking any chances.
This is Win News.